Good evening, viewers. Over the next 5 minutes, I am going to break down the situation in Lebanon, and I'll do it not just from the theory but from personal experience. I commanded 15 Punjab in Lebanon after the 2006 Lebanon war, so I have seen the ground reality closely. Now, as we speak, there is a 10-day ceasefire going on. Something important has happened recently. On 14th April, there were direct talks between Israel and Lebanon, which has happened after decades. And tomorrow, 23rd April, more talks are scheduled in America. At the same time, Israel has drawn what they call a yellow line, roughly 5 to 10 kilometers inside Lebanon, as a buffer zone. And around 50 villages are now under Israeli control, and their plan is to destroy them to prevent use of Hezbollah. Let me quickly give you some background. Lebanon, as we know it today, was created by the French in 1920 as Greater Lebanon, but it became independent in 1943. Now, here is something very important and very unusual. In Lebanon, the president is always a Maronite Christian. The prime minister is always a Sunni Muslim, and the speaker of parliament is always a Shia Muslim. Even the parliament is split 128 seats, exactly half Christians, half Muslims. So, what does that mean? It means leaders represent sects, not necessarily the nation. And honestly, that is the root cause of most of the Lebanon's problems. Now, let me talk about the Lebanese army, the LAF, they call it LAF. From what I have seen, they do not have the capacity and, frankly, not even the will to disarm Hezbollah. And that is the core issue today. Lebanese government is too weak to act. President Aoun knows that if he pushes too hard against Hezbollah, it could trigger another civil war. So let's be very clear here. Any major decision about Hezbollah is not made in Lebanon, it is made in Iran. And from Hezbollah's perspective, their logic is simple. If the state cannot defend Lebanon, then we must keep our weapons. Another important point: Israel recognizes Lebanon as a country, but Lebanon does not recognize Israel. There are no diplomatic relations between the two. Now, a quick look at the history. The Lebanese Civil War began in 1975. The main reason: growing resentment amongst Muslim communities against the dominance of Christian elites. And things got worse when Palestinian groups, especially the Palestine Liberation Organization, shifted base from Jordan to Lebanon. That, combined with the regional rivalries, led to a 15-year civil war from 1975 to 1990. In 1976, Syria sent troops into Lebanon initially to stabilize the things but eventually to control the situation. In 1978, Palestinian attacks on Israel triggered Operation Litani by Israel to push militants north of the Litani River. And then came 1982. After an assassination attempt on Israel's ambassador in London, Israel launched a full scale invasion. They pushed all the way to Beirut and successfully removed the PLO. But here is the twist: this invasion led to the rise of Hezbollah, and this group was backed by Iran, and even its name, Hezbollah, meaning the party of God, was coined under the influence of Ruhollah Khomeini, the first supreme leader. The civil war finally ended with the Taif Agreement in October 1989. It called for disarming of all the militias, but that was never fully implemented. In 2000, Israel withdrew from the southern Lebanon. In 2005, Syria withdrew completely from Lebanon. So, yes, both Israel and Syrian troops were in Lebanon together. But there is a difference. Israel's presence is seen as an occupation after the war, but Syria's presence started as an intervention in civil war, but later became dominance. Now coming to Hezbollah. It is funded, trained, and armed by Iran, and its long-term objective it includes destruction of Israel. Then came the 2006 war. It started with the Hezbollah ambush. Israeli soldiers were killed and two were captured. Israel responded with full force and the conflict lasted over a month. After that war, Hezbollah became even stronger, especially in southern Lebanon. And today, Hezbollah is deeply embedded in Lebanon's political system. The government is too weak to challenge it. Israel has not been able to eliminate it. And the war in 2006 ended with the United Nations Resolution 1701, which called for Hezbollah's disarmament. But even today, that has not been fully implemented. So, if someone asked me to explain Lebanon after my 1 year tenure there in just one line, I would say it is a country where internal divisions, external influences, and armed non state actors they all collide. And that is why stability remains so fragile. Thank you for watching. We'll keep tracking for you the Iran war.